Welcome back to another episode of TimeOut with the SportsDr podcast. And no matter if this is your first episode or if you have been with us since episode number 1, we are very glad to have you here. I truly believe that this podcast is better because of you. So first, I want you to go to the website, Dr.Derrick, thesportsdr.com, find that link in the show notes and go to the website because that's where you can find all the content. Also, register for our bi-weekly email that goes out that gives you all the updates and any behind the scenes information. And the other thing, make sure that you're following us on Instagram and on YouTube because YouTube is our new outlet. We've had it for 6 months now. It is a fast growing place where you can get all the content, the audio and the video. So however you want to consume content, we're trying to make that available for you on this podcast. And we're very glad to have you here. So stay tuned for this episode. Welcome back to another episode, and I hope everyone's new year is off to a great start. I know we're a couple of weeks in, and hopefully that your new goals or resolutions or whatever you decided on for this year are off to a good start. If not, hey, it's not too late to pivot and continue on the same track because we're not aiming to be perfect. We're aiming to be progressive. So, I just really wanted to speak with you. We've recently completed 18 months of this podcast. And when we launched on Father's Day of 2021, there is no way I could have envisioned, all the growth that I've done personally, as well as all the many different exciting guests that I've been able to interview and collaborate with. So it's really been an interesting journey. And it's really been a fulfilling journey, which is probably one of the best things about podcasting. I've been able to talk to people, which is something that was a missing element in my life that I really didn't even know. So what I would like to do is first just kind of recap what we've accomplished over the last 18 months. And, I want to first say thank you for all those who, even if you're listening to your first episode, thank you for being here, but also thank you for those who I know have been here since day one. And I really appreciate your support. I always appreciate your feedback because it helps me to come up with new ideas and new things to do by hearing from the audience. So I really appreciate your feedback. I appreciate you being here. So over the last 18 months of this podcast, we produced episodes weekly. I don't think there's 1 week without an episode. Sometimes you've had more than one episode in a week, but we've been a weekly podcast over the last 18 months. And I think that consistency in podcasting has also spilled over into my life, into my relationships and work. It helps me to be more consistent and continue to show up for the people that are most important for me. Over the last 6 months, we introduced a YouTube channel, which is a fast growing YouTube channel. So if you have not subscribed yet, please go subscribe because that's how you can get these podcasts, both in the audio as well as a visual format. I know people like to consume content in different ways, but we want to make it available for you in as many formats as possible. So we have a YouTube channel. We also send out a bi-weekly newsletter. So if you are not receiving that newsletter, what you need to do is go to the website, Dr.Derrick, thesportsdr.com, and put in your email address, and you will receive that email newsletter. I know that I don't like getting emails every day from anyone, so we try not to overwhelm you, but I do want to give you updated information. And when I have some maybe special editions that I can send out, we will keep you informed. No more than, every other week is what we're doing right now. In the last quarter of the year, we came up with Money Mondays. And what Money Mondays is where we discuss money topics from investments to real estate. That's been something that I'm really focusing on in my life. So I've been able to share many of the lessons that I've learned. And a special shout out to Dr. Ronnie Shalev, who partnered with the podcast to share her journey as a physician turned investor in the multifamily real estate space through sponsorship as well as through shedding information that she's learned along the way. So she's been a great resource for the podcast. Also, we've had other people speak about taxes, real estate investments. Shout out to Amanda Hahn and Matt McFarland from Keystone CPA. one of the top real estate CPA firms in the nation. And we've had them on the podcast to be able to share their wealth of knowledge with us. So we're going to continue to grow and continue to go into new realms like this. And I've gotten feedback specifically about the Money Mondays about, hey, I really enjoy these real estate episodes. I really enjoy the fact that you're talking about these money topics, because we know that in many cultures, talking about money can be taboo. It doesn't matter if you are poor, rich, or in between. Talking about money is just something that many families don't do. And that's why I want to kind of break that narrative and make money a familiar topic, one that you're well educated on, because I know I was well into my career and I still lack the basic knowledge of being able to define some of the common terms for investments and savings and different things of that nature. So we don't want that for the next generation. So that's the real focus of Money Mondays. As I mentioned before, I really value your feedback. Of course, I value your reviews. Anytime you leave me a review, that really helps this podcast grow. But when you give me feedback, it helps me know that I can curtail the information that I'm giving to make sure it fits you. So the more feedback I get, the more this podcast will speak to you personally. As well as if you have any guests that you want to hear from, please let me know, especially if you know someone. I really appreciate when you will introduce that potential guest to me, because that makes it a lot easier for me to get them on the show. So if you want to be on the show, reach out to me. If you have someone, if you have an athlete, entertainer, entrepreneur that you want to hear from on this podcast, please give me their information. And like I said, if you know them, reach out to them and just make a connection. So that's kind of where we are. Some of the accomplishments of this podcast, we have continued to be ranked by Good Pods as one of the top medical podcasts in that division. We have over 10,000 downloads now, as well as views on YouTube and other channels. So thank you for your continued support. We're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to learn. And I'm just really excited to have you all along for the ride. So that's pretty much it. It's not going to be a long episode. I just wanted to update you on what's going on and kind of prepare you for what we're going to continue to do in the future. And I want to just leave you with this thought. I came across this, I won't call it a quote, but writing in my phone. I'm not sure if I made it up or if I read it somewhere. But I just want to leave this to you, especially if you're, in the new year, contemplating new things or starting new things. And this is really just for the dreamers out there, because many times you'll be given a destination or you'll have an idea of exactly what you're called to do or exactly what God wants you to do, but you might not have a clear roadmap of how to get there, especially for first generation entrepreneurs, first generation students, or whatever it may be. You might be literally blazing your own trail as you go. So in many times in life, I feel that the destination is clear, but there are no clear instructions on how to get to where you want to be. So if you're currently in that situation, I want you to be encouraged. I want you to know that you are not alone, number one. And this is where I truly believe faith comes in, because God will give us a vision and he wants us to continue to lean on him, continue to be dependent on him for that daily bread, for that next step. So if that's what you're experiencing in life right now, trust me, you're not alone. I'm going through that same walk. So just continue to stay tuned as we continue to grow together. I really appreciate you being here, and I can't wait to continue to grow with you in the future. So continue to be blessed. We'll be in touch. Peace. Thank you for continuing to support this podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, then please leave a 5-star review. And if you haven't done so, subscribe so you continue to get the updated episodes. Until later, peace. TimeOut with the SportsDr. Keep our head right in the game. We ain't never stopping. You are now tuned in. Trust you don't want to miss. This is where life, sports, and medicine.